Hello and welcome to the Chilled Cardano podcast. I am Illinois and I'm here with Chilled Cardano. We have 8 aquariums and pineapple pizza on today. So hope you guys enjoy.
It's a good rip. It's a long one. We get into a lot of subjects, but stick around towards the end. We have some treats for you. So enjoy.
Some exclusives.
Exclusives.
Hi there, this is Trevor Barnett, aka Pineapple Pizza. I do art for false idols, and I do some community managing for the Churs. And I got into the ecosystem back in April through Gyro NFTs, and I was on Twitter asking where to get, because you have to have all these parts to get this Gyro stag or this mecha stag. I was like, oh wow, I got like almost all the parts like in one mint. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go on Twitter see if I can't trade like an extra arm or something. Like, why don't you just go to the JPEG store and just buy some? I was like, oh, let me see how much they are. And they're like super cheap. Like, why are they lower than mint? I discovered the paper hand. And then in there, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Happens to the best.
And so I got all my parts, and then I sold a extra Gyro head that I had, one of the Mecha Stag heads, for 1,500 ADA.
Ooh,
right
nice.
Before, you had to have them all in your wallet for a snapshot to get the full Mecha Stag. And so then I got into false idols. I started buying some of their stuff, and then I got to doing some of their artwork through fan art, actually, just messing around.
Okay.
And then I met the Churs through a whitelist on their Discord, and really liked their work. And then they're having a slower mint right now. I was like, hey, I want to help these guys out, because I've been doing artwork for the space, and I've been making connections here and there. And so that's how I'm here.
Hell yeah, man.
That's awesome.
So
you kind of weaseled your way into the different projects. That's nice.
Yeah, and I do freelance illustration, by the way. So I do art anyway for a job. So it's just kind of like a new avenue.
It's what you love.
Work. Yes, sir.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I'm actually in my studio. That's a painting right behind me.
Ooh,
damn,
I like it.
Yeah,
very nice.
It's kind of hard to see.
That's awesome, man.
The plug already happened.
You're talented.
Thank you, buddy.
Are those one of ones? That looks pretty rare.
It's a very one of one. Yeah, all traditional art's usually one of one. No control.
That's not a derivative.
Yeah, in the IRL.
We also have 8 aquariums on again. He was on a couple months ago. Glad to have you back from the Churs. How you doing, man?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having us back, or having me back at least. This has got to be one of the most comfortable kind of things in the space I look forward to. Especially in these times, trying to build and, all just the chaos and the drama and the rug here and the rug there. You guys are like my actual chilled Cardano. And so just thank you for being able to let me ramble on and, talk about the space and represent the Churs and give us this platform. Because when we first, I think it was before, it was definitely before when we first did the interview with Reddington. And I gotta say, we had a decent amount of people saying, oh yeah, I heard about you from Chilled Cardano. I'm like, awesome.
Nice.
We love those guys. Yeah, so really appreciate that. And just really excited to talk about, everything in the space, what's going on, what we're doing, and, what Pineapple's been up to. It's just a really I'm excited. And that's the nice thing about, why I reached out to you, because I feel like everybody just has their in their downtime, and they don't really have something to, no exciting announcements. You see Twitter, there's nothing really happening right now. And so in these times, we really hit the paper to the pen, or however you want to say that, and put our heads down again and really just tried to have fun again. Hop in the church chat, draw some live art, talk, and maybe let's forget about, the slow mint or the bear market.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with the slow mint. Having these fast sellout mints is not sustainable. You got so many projects, so much liquidity can only go somewhere. And with a slow mint, I think the advantage of it is you get to build while you're minting.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which I think is very healthy. There's nothing wrong if you sell out. That's great.
And
But
you
you
kind of
should,
learn
but
your
you shouldn't
community.
just drop shop. I mean, quit shop if you don't sell out, within a few hours.
Well, I think
Yeah.
also like the space is so young, and like there is no rules yet, so like we're kind of making it up as we go, and like especially in
Right.
Cardano, it's been like we've had NFTs for like barely a year, so people like make these rules up like, oh, you have to sell out after mint, otherwise your product's not a success. When in reality, it's like the whole thing is like a
There's
continuation, right? So it's like everyone's like, oh, what's next? What's what's your roadmap? When are you airdropping your token? And it's like, well, let's slow down. Like, there's a lot going on here, and like, especially with a smaller team like you guys, where it's like there's maybe a couple people in there, and it's like, there's a lot to work out and figure out, and I think it's okay to just take your time with the project and really like make it a quality thing and like grow a nice foundation. I mean, we're not going anywhere, so it's like, take your time, do it right. It's better than that than having somebody like some unnamed projects where they're moving from project to project to project, right? And they're just kind of ghosting that community. And those people will probably never come back because, they feel jaded or like left, And so it's kind of nice when you come back to a project like Churs where it's like they're still rocking and rolling. So it's kind of cool to see you guys grow.
Yeah, exactly. And we got inspired actually from Chillas. Have you kept up with them?
Yeah,
No.
huge shout out to them, by the way. Honestly.
Yeah, so they've been doing a slow mint since I think December or November. They have like 5,555 in their collection. And I remember the last time I checked on them, like back in April, they're like, it's like 2,000. Man, it's like they're a long way from 5,000. Went back the other day, they've got 5,000, only 555 more to go.
Nice.
They've just been churning and getting at it. It's like, I think that's an inspiration for all of us. They didn't quit.
No.
They're keeping their community engaged, they're building, and they're living up to their promises and making bigger promises.
And to piggyback off that, what you mentioned earlier about, this kind of being, the beginning of, we're making it as we go. I mean, these kind of talks are why I feel so important to be vocal and talk, because, who knows if I, didn't speak about how I feel, maybe nobody really would say what I have to say. And so then the platform isn't built, because like you said, we're building as we go. So I want to make sure at least somebody says the good things, and makes maybe I can inspire someone that wants to build their own project and be like, that guy, when he said this, I should do it this way because he made a lot of good points. And if nobody's saying anything, and you guys aren't giving a platform for people to talk, then the people that make it up as they go, they truly don't have anything to compare it to. And so we want to make sure that we're vocal in the ways that we build, because we want to do it the right way. And like you said, we're not going anywhere. So I mean, I'm going to build a reputation that I hope other people would want to emulate. If I could be somebody that's this is funny to say, but if I could 2 years down the road, somebody's like, I really looked up to 8 aquariums, I mean, that would feel awesome. And I would hope that it would be something, whatever I'm doing at that time, it's built and I'm in a place of, I'm looking at projects that are being built and having some sort of mindset of an idea that I was like, they get it, they finally did it right. And I just see some, foul play, but I'm starting to really see the people like chinchillas, sorry, starting to see them, come up from the ashes, so to speak. They're like, we're not stopping. They keep grinding, and projects like that probably would have got pushed to the wayside during the bull market. And so, it's nice. I remember we talked about it in the last podcast. The people that truly are building in these bear markets, those are going to be the ones that stick around. And so we're starting to see the actual people now. And so that's really reassuring to me, especially a project like that, 8 months, and they were still going every day. So that's super inspirational, honestly.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a lot more quiet too. Like, there's less noise and everything, but the people that are talking on Twitter and Discord and stuff, like, I feel like they have important things to say, and they're still building, and they're giving other people advice on like how to build things better in the bear market. So when the bull market comes back, I'm sure all the noise will come back. But
Come back, yeah, and the FOMO
Yeah.
will come back, and
yeah,
When
But,
Whitelisting will
um,
achieve
yeah.
but I think really the bear market's where you kind of prepare for the bull market, right? Not
Right.
just in your project, but just in, your branding and your if like your podcast you got here, you want to be at the top. You want to get the top of your game when the bull market comes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Exactly.
okay, we're
Yeah.
getting all these subscribers and followers and listeners now. But you did all that work during the bear market, and it's so worth it.
Yeah.
If you-
So
if
we
you're-
always talk about we're like if we can get some views now, like it's gonna be so easy when there's a bull market,
Exactly.
Oh, so with the Churs project and everything, like releasing in a bear market, what was like the most unexpected, I guess, like part of that minting in the bear market? 8 aquariums.
So definitely, oh yeah. I was ready for this one. So I mean, it wasn't that long ago that we spoke, but you know how time flies in this space. I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like I'm
Decades.
like I'm like
Feels like a
Gandalf.
year
I'm like,
ago.
back in my day, I was telling this to Pineapple. I'm like, we used to trade on Discord channels and trust that they would send the NFT. And it was only a year ago, so I can only imagine, like, back in my day, we didn't have a metaverse to buy the tokens from. So
Yeah.
it's
But a year in blockchain is like an eon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that Inception, or what is that? What's that movie where they like go to a different planet and it's like 10 years has passed? It's
Oh.
like in
Oh,
a
that's
second.
Interstellar.
Yes.
We just
Thank
lost
you.
51.
And that's talking about relativity.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
to
like
touch
perfect for that space because it's just like you wake up and it's like, what year is it?
But yeah.
And I love that movie too. So each time I watch it, I actually do like think about that because I honestly, you're in front of your computer and as an artist, you get lost in your work sometimes, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
So just to touch back on like the mint during the bear market. So I really was surprised by a few things. Number one, the amount of people that we just the numbers in our Discord, and I'm involved in other projects too, so I have a little more insight in like behind the scenes. Shout out to Team Pets R Us, shout out to Return to Caragonia, shout out to obviously my experience in Raging Reds and still to this day going on. So like when I look at all the stuff, that a lot of the normal people do when they're, I would say, shopping for NFTs or deciding what to mint, you look at those kind of analytics that were floating around on Twitter. I forget who did it. But he shouted out Return to Caragonia, the project that I did the artwork on. 100% sellout chance. Not so much. But if you look at the things he was looking at how many members they have, who's active. He was really breaking it down nicely. And when I saw that, the project lead was like, yes, let's go. And, she really likes my artwork. And, huge shout out to Green Tea, by the way. She's still building in this market, so I really appreciate all that. But when you do all that, it gives the project lead kind of a false expectation. And with the Churs, I mean, we had 400 whitelist members. I mean, active wallets input into the bot, and so I'm like, okay, we're good. Like, because we look at a 400 wallet distribution spread on a project, 6,666 assets. Okay. I think we might be good. But then when the numbers are drastically different during mint, that was what I really wasn't expecting. I mean, like 80-90% different margins. That was really surprising to me. And so
Yeah.
like,
What do you attest that to? Like, what do you think? Why was there such a difference?
So I actually was talking to Pineapple earlier, and I called it window shopping, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in we have experienced people now, and we have people that they're not all new anymore, and there's a lot of them, and they've been around, and they've been burnt, and they're not so excited to jump in and oh, what's that 48? Okay, yeah. They're like, I don't know. And so what they do is they do what everyone else does. Make sure you can get as many whitelists as you can, because you never know. and you're one tweet away from missing out. And so I think it gives them the, I'm in the Discord, I'm whitelist, I'm there, so my FOMO is gone, because if things do start popping, I have a chance to still get in.
So are you
And
saying that, like, sorry to interrupt, but like,
no, you're fine.
are you saying like, so one person will try to get multiple whitelist positions and then they'll watch the minting and see if it's selling out quickly, or if it's a slow mint per se, and
Correct.
then at that point they'll, mint or not mint, just debating on that. So is
Yes.
there some way to stop that then? Is there a way, like, as this whole space grows and matures, like, do you like the idea of whitelisting people, or is there a different way to do this, do you think?
That's the nice thing about this space, is just what you said. We get to make the rules, and there is so many better ways to do it. But a lot of projects, they want to do the tried and true, what worked for them. And so they look at what other people did when they sold out, and the bear market, things were good. The bull market, things were good.
Yeah.
But, that's not the case anymore. So this outdated way of selling projects is just not the way to do it anymore. And I think what projects need to start doing is really getting down and kind of humanizing themselves in a way, instead of the, announcement, roadmap, whitelist spot, JPEG verification. Like, I could almost write a script for an AI to kind of spit out a project at this point. And I don't blame any other project leads for doing that, because they want to make sure they sell out. I would say that right now, I think that if you were to ask the community, hey, I have a whitelist token, it's 5 ADA.
Yeah.
And, all these free mints, people are willing to, quote unquote free mint. You send, what is it, 3 ADA? And, thankfully now we have enough minters and services in the space with, NFT Maker and how they've expanded, and JPEG Store and how they're allowing, people to mint assets. It's not becoming necessarily cheaper per se. There's
Right.
nothing, tech wise, but people were maybe taking advantage of some other people, because there was only 2-3 minters, when I first started. And so now with these tools that we have, it kind of puts a lot more power into the project lead to say, all right, well, let's just say you whitelist for 5 ADA and you get a token. And so you set up the wallet to make sure that you won't get that asset unless you hold that token. And will it work like completely? Probably not. But at least it's like a digital sticky note to remind them that there's a mint that they might miss, or
Right.
I don't. It's with the royalties on a project and minting a whitelist token at 5 ADA, that flip might be that much harder for you to try to do. So you kind of prevent maybe some paper hands. But is that a perfect solution? I don't know. Baby Angel Hit Squad, I believe, is doing their Devil mint that way, if I'm not mistaken, with the Devil token. But I think they airdropped that, so that's a harder thing to judge. But I do think that there's something there, and I want the community to understand that it's not something that we're like punishing, or that it's not about that.
There's a balance, right? It's like, you want to make it fair for both sides, and it's like this space is so young. It's like, so we're just trying things. There's trial and error, and just trying to figure things out, what's working, what's not working. And certain things will work for certain projects, and other things. Is there anything that you're seeing that, like, you're like, wow, like, I love what they're doing?
Yeah, definitely just pure raw back to like square one Discord in the early days engagement. I think of my time, because I really had to break it down, like when it sucked after the Churs, of course, man.
Yeah.
Like mentally, just all of it. But when you have those moments, you dust yourself off. I'm like, what brought me here? What was fun? And I'm seeing projects do that now. They're getting really creative, and that's what I like to see. It's not just only guarded game and poker games. I'm
Right.
seeing people use bots to give points, and like in Discord games, I'm like, yes, here we go. Discord's a really great tool, and we have all this API information we can pull from left and right. And so people are starting to use it in a creative but fun, interactive way. And I think if you just keep people around, You hang out on a Friday night, you have a beer, you're like, oh, they're still minting. Okay, these things are cool. These guys rock. I know they're gonna stick around because they were here last Friday. And I think just humanizing your project, and that was one of the nice things about Raging Reds. I mean, would we have sold out if we were hanging out in the Chur Talk with Reddington Drawing? Probably, maybe, I don't know. That's the hard part of it. But I will say this: the friends that I made in that talk are the reason I'm here today. JPEG Store didn't exist, and I know all those people because they were watching Reddington draw. And so those relationships and just the organic part of that, it kind of is a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. You you might not even want to be a part of your project, but you don't want to rug anymore, so you just hang out, and all of a sudden you start faking that smile long enough, and guess what? You're having fun again. So I think we're starting to see that with a lot of projects. I hope the new ones that come in just stop rugging everyone out.
What are your thoughts on like Discord and like versus keeping like the talk going on Twitter or like different social media platforms? Like, because I know personally it's really hard for me to like, you know, having a full-time job and then on top of this like trying to keep track of all these Discords and all these like it like their own communities, and like you could spend your whole day on there. And it's really, I think there's something to be said for having some engagement on Twitter as well. I think for me personally, like I feel like sometimes when NFT projects like live their whole existence on Discord, like they can get lost in the shuffle. And I think if you can tie the two together, like I don't know if it's going to be Twitter or like I'm seeing a lot of really cool projects coming now. Like I think there's one called Chain Lobby that Cardano's making where it's like it's almost its own social media on chain. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, the social media aspect, I do think you literally nailed all the points that I would have to say about that. Because you do get lost,
Yeah.
and a lot of that getting lost is trying to make sure you're spreading the name everywhere, and you know, by doing that, you're not focusing in the right areas. You're just trying to, you know, how do I word this? You think that you're marketing everywhere, but nobody's hearing you,
Right.
and there's no focus. And so, with something like social media and you know Twitter, it's a false expectation. I mean, look at the Churs, and like we popped when we first did that tweet, and you can go through all those followers, and they were all legit.
Yeah.
And like that was the thing. Like people were coming through the walls, like to come into our Discord. And so, you know, when you do it your way on a platform that you kind of built and you understand better because of that, I think it gives you more of an answer and not like a false hope. Because if I say I had a platform where I knew, you know, oh damn, nobody's interacting, and you know, I'm gonna, you know, stall my mint. I'm gonna hold off. But when you're in the Twitter and Discord and that's it, it's easy to be misled by numbers. And you're seeing people on Twitter, they're trying to figure it out and they're trying to help people. And I
Right.
think they're trying to help projects and also the mentors themselves. You know, people who buy NFTs. Like it's safe to mint because they're gonna sell. Because look at the numbers. And I hate seeing it because we just don't have those kind of answers yet. And
Yeah.
social media is misleading that. You know.
Trevor, I saw you shaking your head there. Did you have
Oh yeah, that was that's Ada Digis was doing Chain Lobby, and I think it's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be like it's more than just like a Web3 like platform like Discord. It's gonna be like, you know, imagine if your browser is social media as well. It's just kind of all in one little place. If you want to go to the communities, you can. If you just want to surf around, you can. You know, just like with any brand, like say Disney, I don't know if they have a Discord, but if they did,
yeah.
You're not going to have all of their subscribers or their followers in the Discord. You know,
Right.
engaging that way. You got to have stuff for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
For your I guess for your average Joe or Jane to be doing. And so I think the NFT market needs to do the same. You know, not just live your life in Discord.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on the whitelisting?
Me, yeah. Like Zach had said, I think a lot of people just will get as many as they can, whether it's multiple or not, and they'll just kind of see it's like, okay, this project's popping off, this project's not. And I think a better way to do that maybe to be like like a token, maybe something that's really cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would create a barrier to entry. Is like, do I really want to whitelist for 5 ADA?
Right.
You know, or something could be even cheaper than that. Because I think if you just make some kind of little paywall right there for a whitelist, that would make yours like, yeah, I want to mint, I want to have this thing. And if they decide not to, they can sell it on secondary.
It almost
wanted to, or give it away.
Yeah, we almost need to like gamify the whitelist itself, like where it's like, because I do love Discord. I feel like they're starting to, because I feel like Discord was made for like video games, and we're reusing it for like our NFTs, and it's like not purposely built for it. And I feel like if somebody like really came in and like created games where it's like like we have all these bots that follow you like for creating engagement or doing stuff on other social media platforms, and just like then that person's a little bit more meaningful to like the Churs community, so they would get like certain perks and like it all be trackable, but it almost needs to be on chain to a certain extent. I don't know, Erica, I'm sorry, you were gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, like, with the whitelisting stuff on Discord, I think it's like, for me personally, like, I don't like talking like on Discord a lot. So when people are like, you have to have like rank 15, you have to talk to people, this much to get a whitelist, I'm like, well, I'm never gonna do that because I don't care enough. And like, I think it excludes a certain subset of people from like wanting to whitelist if they have to do it by like, playing a game or like stuff like that. So I think there should be like another option, like if projects want to do that, because I think you are like excluding people like me who are weird introverts that don't want to do all that.
It's funny you mentioned introverts because, believe it or not, I've been, it was my first NFT was it was Finger Monster, believe it or not. And so that's how long I've been in this space. And the entire time, my girlfriend, we share the same room, and my desk is right here, and her desk is right over there, and she works from home. And so obviously when she's working, I keep it down. And then as soon as she get off work, okay guys, I can voice chat. And so, the entire time, she's listening, not on purpose. And the whole time I'm like, she's just gonna leave me, like, and I'm telling her, trust me, this is gonna be something good for us. Well, guess who came into the space? My girlfriend. And not only did she come into the space like voluntarily, she's having a blast. And
Nice.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around all this because, not only is she the smartest person I've ever met, but she's very like data driven, like way of thinking, and actually her job was in like data analysis. And so I always told her, I'm like, babe, I'm doing metadata in Excel, will you please help me? She's like, oh, okay, fine. I'm like, can I hire you, please? And she's like, NFTs? Like, are you kidding me? No. And so now here she is minting Jesus too, and telling me about drops and becoming a foundation of a team with Pineapple and me to help the Churs. And it's just like, what is happening here? I mean, it's always what I wanted, but for her to just do it, on her own volition, I thought was amazing, because it just shows that even in the bear market, someone that I thought hated this was like, oh, this is kind of cool. I like that art. And, oh wait, how much is it? And right away, boom, she's in it. And thankfully, Jesus, dogs are barking. Sorry,
She's
scared the hell out of me.
She's like, babe, what's your hot wallet password? I need to make something real quick.
She's like, yeah, I'm new, but here's my ADA handle address. We're like, what the hell are you talking about?
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
I remember on the Discord, like, I was one of the OGs, and then when you guys first released it, like, I couldn't even keep up with all the messages of like people who were like trying to get the OG rank, and they were so mad like that they couldn't get it, a lot of people. And then you fast forward like, what, 2 weeks later or a month later, and it's like, where are all those people?
I know, right?
They just like disappeared. It's very weird.
Yeah.
I remember because I went in their Discord one night because I had whitelisted. I was like, I need to get in there, start just talking a little bit. And I got talking to Reddington. Actually, I didn't even know who he was at the time. He posted some video of who's the guy that does can the devs do something? He's always got that that
Oh
gift
yeah,
going on. He's got that necklace.
hardcore Nick or something.
Yeah, he had posted a video. The guy was like, "Oh, this is millions of dollars of diamonds worth around my neck." I'm like, "No, it's not." Because I grew up in the jewelry industry as a kid, and I was like, "If that's millions of dollars worth around your neck, you get ripped off."
Yeah.
It's a lot of money, but it's not what he said.
Yeah, I
And
heard.
I just got to talking to him about that. That's how I was in the Churs Discord. But I remember just him talking to Red. You had some new guy going, "Chur, bro, chur, 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 chur is the word." And you know, then Mint comes up, and it's just like quiet.
You know, that is the weird part of this thing. Is like, you know, there's a lot of stuff like an idea behind a whitelist token, okay, and blockchain or an on-chain social media, Web3, like all these ideas like are kind of, you know, they could be an answer to our problems. But that situation is one that I'm truly stumped on. And I think it could be part of what I was mentioning earlier, just to see what happens. But the engagement and the excitement, like, so you're telling me you're an individual that's like super pumped and you're sitting there hammering away at the keyboard and talking to me, and then all of a sudden we go live and you're just gone. And it's just strange because I can't help but think, if I was that person, why would I be wasting my time? And so I've tried to dive in those people's minds and I've gotten nowhere.
It's very interesting. I mean, I think a lot of it is just pure timing, because it's such a weird world to be half art and then half financialized too, where you're combining these two worlds together, where a lot of people just are here for the art and they love it. They think it's cool. You know, there's a certain game aspect to it. And then other people are strictly looking at charts, data, and seeing how fast this thing, you know, number go up. And then like, if it bounces, like, okay, I can come in at this level, I could buy 30 of these NFTs, and then, you know, maybe I can pump the market. And then that's like literally all they care about. So, you know, it's such a weird world. And I don't know, like, you know, certain teams have it figured out where, or they just get a whale, and right. And like, this person kind of takes the whole NFT collection on their back and they buy like, you know, a majority of the stake. And then, you know, people just ride it with them and they think like this is, you know, or you have somebody wash trading all these NFTs too, right? And keep it on the top 10 for months on end. So there's a lot of fuckery afoot too. So it's kind of interesting where you have a project like the Churs and you guys are doing all grassroots, right?
Oh,
and,
yes.
But it seems, you know, like you do have like a diehard community of people. So it's kind of interesting to see, you know, where that takes you. And I just think people who work hard, you know, at a certain point, something, you know, good happens when you just put a lot of effort into something, and, you know, you have a lot of passionate people around. I mean, that's always a recipe for success too. So.
And
No, go ahead.
I'll be really quick. Sorry.
Okay.
Just real quick. Just wanted to touch on this. Because you do see, like, yes, projects make mistakes, but the projects I would go into the Discord and see that they didn't mint, or they're still minting, and, you know, they had to cut the mint count, cut the, you know, cost per NFT. You do see this. You see them. Sorry guys, like, it didn't work out, and whatever announcement, and then the announcements fade away. But then guess what happens? They come back because they needed a break, because they were grinding for so long and then it didn't happen. So we're humans.
Right.
And so that part of the space needs to recognize, like, give them a minute, guys. And, you know, obviously that timeline, it shouldn't be forever, but absolutely that happened with us. We were building lore and partnerships with 20 different, you know, projects, and the Churfest and the token. So all these things, you know, that took us 8 months for one weekend of like, what just happened? I need to like process it. So that being said, you do see that these projects, they kind of follow that rhythm. The successful ones that actually like end up selling their mint out after a rough one, they end up doing the same thing that the other one did and the other one. And so we're trying to not only adopt a lot of what other projects did too, but also spice up what we have, and also bring up our own, ideas and vision, basically. But yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
I was just gonna say, you just about wash trading. I just saw a project literally. It's not wash trading, but they have all their NFTs in a wallet, and they'll list one for auction. And it'll start at like 2,000 ADA, and every hour it goes down to 100 ADA until someone snatches it.
Wow.
And they're like in the top 10 on JPEG Store. I forget which one it was, but I just thought that's just kind of a.
I think I know which one.
We don't have to name names if we don't.
we don't have to name them. And I just remember seeing their tactics. I'm like, this is just a little grimy.
It's weird. Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I feel the same way. I'm just like, this is so messed up because so they're kind of rewarding the whales in that community, and then everyone else who's a holder of that NFT, they're getting theirs like a month later. So it's weird. I hate that, like, where it's like the whales get first dibs on, because it's like, what about those people who, don't have 50,000 ADA or 100,000 ADA? You know what I mean? Like, why are they? Yeah, it's like, it's just like so telling of where that project really, what they honestly care about. And I understand, like, we're all here to make money, at a certain extent too. But it's so,
like anything,
it's so grimy.
I'm a professional artist and I love the art, but you have to make a living, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's what it comes down to. It's like,
yeah. And so there's nothing wrong with being both.
Right.
And I think eventually the NFT space would be the space of startups. You got a cool project you want to do, and you can't do it like traditionally because there's so much red tape or there's so much, barrier to entry. I think the NFT space is like where it can just happen.
Yeah.
You've got an idea, you've got some cool art, or you've got some major cool utility, and then there you go. It's all from there.
Yeah, I think some projects just like they have an NFT drop, and then they're like, they figure out the utility later, and sometimes it actually ends up being like really cool. So like, you never know who's gonna. Yeah.
And that's the cool thing, because here lately you hear these talks like, what's the utility? Is there utility for this project? And you have to define what utility is. If you look at something like Netflix, what's their utility? Entertainment. You look at something like Unilever, what's their utility? Distribution.
Right.
You look at something like Vanguard, what's their utility? I don't know. They just own everything. They're in the financial market. But so when you come to utility size in art school, I went to SCAD, by the way, if you know what that is in art school. And we talked about Bauhausian theory, if you're familiar with Bauhausian theory. And to simplify it, it's form follows function. And it's usually used in architecture and car design. And what that means is that function tops art, basically. But when both of them follow together, like car design and architecture, you get the coolest shit ever.
Oh, 100%.
Because you can have something that's totally just utility, like a house. You can just be a block. It's ugly, and it works perfectly. But it's like, do you feel fulfilled living there? No. But when you have art that functions as well as it looks, you got something beautiful there. And that's the same thing with car design. And with NFTs, you can do it retroactively. With a car, you can't. You have to go on phase 2. You have to keep molding and sculpting. With NFTs, it's all open data policies, and you can just have some art and idea, and then down the road you can retroactively add your utility or your function.
Yeah,
have you
seen? Point.
Is there any project that you're seeing in the NFT space that you're like that give you a little bit of that, a taste of that?
I would say probably Jesus too a little bit, because their whole thing is just about making this animated short. Mm-hmm. But what do you make an animated short for?
Right.
Usually you're pitching it.
Yeah.
Whether it's for a show or for a movie. And how do you reward your holders for that? I don't know. I could think of ways, but it may not be SEC kosher.
Right, that's true. Because we're talking about securities then, right? Because it's like,
securities,
if we get this, then you guys get this.
Yeah, but I mean, there's all kind of creative ways you can do it, though. It don't have to be even financially. It could be just your super fans.
Right.
And they're talking about Jesus too. You get to own snippets of the actual animated short. You know,
Yeah,
that's
that's
priceless. If you have the actual, I guess it'd be a raw file. So I'm assuming what they would send.
yeah. It seems like it's almost like the I think about it this way, kind of a weird metaphor for it maybe. But like, yeah, gosh, like how do I say this? Like, oh, I may not be the most handsome guy on the block, but I'm funny. Like, there's always, a way of selling something and being able to sell yourself in a way. But like that person that dates the person, they're laughing, so they're mutually benefiting from the utility. And so like something like Jesus too, like how you mentioned, NFTs kind of being like a startup point. It will be that way because of just the fast-paced tech world that we're in. I mean, look at someone like Netflix, or look at a company like Netflix. To be personally honest with you, I I stray away from them. Why? Because I go on there and I'm like, what happened to you guys? You guys had so much
I
funding,
know
and all
it's
this original program is BS.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it's like my TV or my computer screen, wherever I'm watching it from. It's like an open sewer grate. It's just spilling out from my
Mhm.
monitor. It's like, wow, I'm gonna have to sift through all this shit to get something
Yeah.
nice.
100%.
And so the nice thing, what we're seeing now is the thing that people that have rooted for crypto for so long and don't quite understand NFTs is the part that they're missing. Is it's like, this is the power to the people. Why? Because if the price of ADA goes down, I still got my movie, NFT or whatever, type of asset that you want to put there. And I think that part gets lost in like a lot of the crypto space. And we all know how the general public feels about NFTs. They think that like they're printed on plasma screens and then we burn them in our backyard or something and ruin the environment. I'm not quite sure where that connection happened, but like the mass majority of people don't truly understand like when you switch your Amazon account and you go to sign in or their servers are down, well, you don't own those movies anymore. Actually, you never really
Mhm.
did.
Never did. You just you had the privilege of watching them while you had their account.
And I'm surprised there's not someone just a little smarter than myself with enough capital, like say like Mark Cuban, for instance, and he's all in the crypto space. He hasn't like started something.
Doge.
It's just anything. Like you could throw something like 1 million at this space, and you know how far it could get you, and have some really good content where it's given to the people and shown. Like, don't tell them about how it's always going to be yours and your wallet. Give them something that they like so much that they're like, oh, okay, this is cool. Oh, it's an NFT. Oh, I didn't. Oh,
And I
okay.
think the term wallet is a misnomer because
Right.
it makes it sound like you have like, oh, these are all of my assets here. It's like, what if it's just a movie? Is that really an asset? It's like, no, this is like your library. Yeah, your funds are in here too, but this is this is your little digital space. This is yours.
Yeah.
I think we'll go back like in 10 years and like a lot of this stuff's going to get figured out. But right now it's like the Wild West. And because we have so many different
Hmm.
chains and so many different names for different things that are the same thing, it's so complicated. I mean, I just visited my sister in Georgia and I talked to my brother-in-law for like 2 hours about this stuff. And at the end of it, he's like, Mike, I just don't get it. Like, I don't trust it. I don't understand it. Like I'd rather have my money in a bank. And
I was like, really, with a 0%
well, that's the thing.
fractionalized
Yeah, he's
banking?
like, I just trust it. I trust it. And I, like the bank's always gonna be there. And I'm just like, I couldn't. And it was really hard for me to like get through to him. So, and that's somebody who's my brother-in-law. Like we're really close, and he gave me the time of day. Like most people aren't gonna give you 2 hours of their day. So, I mean, to like going back to what Ada Aquarium said about Mark Cuban creating like um, educational entertainment, that's the key right there, right? I mean, that's a great idea, to be totally honest with you. If you guys could do something like that where it's like you're creating something where people can learn and at the same time entertain them, right? Because it's so hard to get people's
Yeah.
engagement. So I mean that's kind of like the golden goose right
Do,
there, you know what I mean?
y-
Because I mean, to be totally honest with you, that's kind of why we started this channel, to show people how cool like a lot of this technology is, and give people the time, like people working on stuff, and just kind of break it down for normal people to try to understand. So I think, as things become more simplified, and you can go to just any website and just be like, this is what this is, instead of me trying to tell you for 2 hours, I can just show you something. Is so much simpler. You know what I mean? Like, I think I've been listening to a lot of podcasts talk about the way people are Google searching. Instead of Google searching, they're going on TikTok and searching how to do something instead. That's the way younger people are starting to learn. Is just, I'm gonna find a video. I want to find a 10-second, a 30-second clip of how to do this thing, or to learn about this subject matter. And I think that's honestly just like, as sad as it is, like that's kind of the attention span of people at this time, is like, give me 15 seconds. You got 15 seconds. Tell me everything.
Yeah, that's how I learned how to twerk. TikTok.
Actually, it's funny you mention that because like I think my bio on Discord, like I'm not gonna lie, I've learned a lot of skills in this past year. Why? Because when you see the opportunities in this space,
Yeah.
you're like, oh wait, how much that guy make? Wait,
Right.
oh there's a YouTube. Oh wait, hash lips. What is this? Oh yeah, I can watch that hour. I'll put an hour aside. Oh, I can do image generation. Holy shit. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so this just like how you mentioned, using these other avenues like YouTube or TikTok, a good example I think back into like the early days of Google. Google's the head dude, he said, we developed a search engine. And what happened on accident is we developed a way of being able to understand how people think. And so that's why they'll always be the lead AI people, just because they were the first to be like, wait a minute. Because when people search things, you're actually getting their thoughts. And so understanding that and being able to like really truly harness it, and I can only imagine the power of all the data they collect on TikTok. I mean, they'll be able to really hone in on like what people are truly thinking about and where they want to be and how they feel. And once you connect all these data points, I mean, you got a better understanding of the person than they do. And we're at that point in technology now where you have these younger adults growing up in a world I won't understand pretty soon. Give
Right.
me another 5 years and I'll be like, I'm pretty sure I won't know what the new TikTok is. Somebody be like, yeah, I was on this, and I'll be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm.
But the difference is we grew up in such a digital world ourselves, whether it's be a millennial, Gen Z, what have you, where it wasn't moving quite that quickly. So we're willing to listen and have an open mind. And as we're the older crowd, and not all of them, and I wouldn't even say most of them, but just that way of thinking in general, they're a little more apprehensive because of just the wait, what and how? There's so much misunderstanding. They're like, wait a minute, it does this and it does that. That is a lot of inner workings that normally weren't happening. Like I sign a check, I put in the bank, and that's done. Now I have to create a wallet on a digital device I barely use, and so as humans, our technology is evolving quicker than our brains are able to be able to keep up with, and we're in a constant battle with that fight. And I think people need to truly understand that key aspect, because if people try to outsmart the pace of tech, you're not going to win. And you're just going to have to find a corner of it that you understand and be comfortable with. And thankfully, with blockchain being so transparent, I know it's going to be pretty hard for someone to swindle me. I mean, yes, someone can rug my kitty cat picture, but I guarantee you, someone's gonna get pissed off enough that's smarter than me and find a way to stop that. Maybe not now, maybe not a year from now, but eventually, with blockchain being transparent, something will happen there. Now, will it be perfect the first time? Not sure, but the fact that it is a transparent existence of tech is that's never been done. And yeah, I mean, I could go on for days with that, but obviously, you see the point of the like how you were trying to explain to, I forget, what was it, your brother in Georgia?
Yeah.
yeah, just how he was having a hard time kind of grasping and understanding it. It's because we're just built that way to be so apprehensive. But also, he believes in the banking system because television and our economy has told us to trust that, and the financial collapse, and that financial collapse, that was a rug. I mean,
Yeah, and
the banks rugged us.
and I find that quite ironic that people have so much trust after the Great Depression back in the 20s and the roaring 30s. Yeah, because people went to the banks. Is like, where's my money? It's like, I don't know.
We'll just print more NFTs, guys.
Well, it's like I think it's an issue with financial education too, because it's so hard to get people interested in like their own finances and saving. And I think there's a study out that's like most people in the United States have like less, like they couldn't even afford like a $400 car bill or something like that. So it's just like they don't understand saving, and then like interest rates, and it's like, and then we're coming from this world where it's like, this is what like gets us off. Like, this is so interesting to us. We're like, this is the future. And like, you're trying to tell normal people about it. They're just like, they're just so used to being consumers in every aspect of their life, where that's like their major concern of like, how can I like make my life so comfortable and like get the new smartphone, the new TV. I want the new car. It's very materialistic, which is fine. No judgment, but most people aren't thinking about their future or like 10 years down the road. Like, most people are thinking in days and weeks. What's my next meal, instead of like, what's that meal gonna do? You know what I mean? They don't think that way. So
That's
this
very true,
space
yeah.
makes you this space, because of like, we live and die in bear and bull markets. We're just here for months on end, where it's like, you're working on a project like the Churs for months. You get almost a year now, so it's like, you're thinking long term, because you're building, and most people don't have the attention span for that. So it's sad, but
and they've been conditioned that way too,
yeah,
especially this generation. Yeah,
with
it's
TikTok,
interesting.
right? So it's like 30 seconds. It's
Yeah.
like, but most people don't want to build something for 10 years. I mean, it's crazy to think about, but it's like, it's the truth.
No, you're right. Sad.
I like how they use the term like crypto bros for anyone that's into cryptocurrency, but it's like so dismissive.
It's because they see like one YouTuber.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's like most people.
That is the face of crypto, or just the arbiter, the apex of crypto. I was like, nah, it's just one dude and his opinions.
I blame YouTube's algorithm for allowing those clickbait kind of thumbnails, because
they not only allow it, they insist.
They do. Yes.
And I apologize I apologize, guys.
No, you have to. We wouldn't be talking, because you wouldn't have a platform, unfortunately. But we only have how many digital ways to present information to people, and
Right.
that's why we're here trying to change that, because man, the powers that be, we don't know what, you always hear the stories like, this guy is in his wood shop making like canoe for years, and talking about all the intricate things he's learned, and all these people are gaining all this knowledge of carpentry and loving it. He's got a family, and YouTube shuts down his channel. I mean, some of it usually is like a strikes, that's whatever. And it's just interesting to me that people truly don't realize, like, what are we trying to do here if we're not able to talk to our fellow humans? Are we free at this point if we're not allowed to exchange information in a way that we feel safe? I mean, that guy is going to be just totally demoralized, not only mentally, but also you develop relationships with these people, I'm sure. And so, like, these stories, people are like, evil YouTube. But we also have to just be on YouTube, because there isn't anything else.
Right.
And
I
so,
can't wait.
yeah.
I hope to God Cardano makes like a YouTube alternative, because the amount of money they take is insane. And like, if you can make a living, just like a regular living, like, nothing crazy, if they shared it more, but they really don't, and it's really for like that 1% who make, you know, your pootie pies, if you will, and your Jake Pauls.
I will say this, maybe it will take people to not make as much money. So you got people that are developers, right? Mentors in the early space.
Right.
I'm not going to say anybody, but I don't hear about them anymore. Why? Because they're good. They're set. I don't think they're sitting around, learning Plutus anymore. Maybe they are, whatever. But the amount of money that flows into a younger man's hands, yeah, it would incentivize me to just kind of say, all right, I made it. See you later. So then you have some talent that could have been really huge and something leave. Whereas when you stick around because you're forced to, because you have to keep building to pay the bills at that point, and it's not a quick payday, by default, you're going to pick up a lot more knowledge than you would have, in the quick, burn and turn kind of, so to speak. And so I think maybe the bear market will be the blessing of Cardano, because there is a shift of tides, I'm saying, in the financial space in the crypto world. Bitcoin used to be that 32 tried and true, like 32K. And like, ADA goes up and down, but I don't remember ADA being, I would say like, when Bitcoin was going to be 100K, like the correlation between the Bitcoin rise and ADA, we're looking a lot better than the big guys. And so the innovation and the tech will drive the space. And I think with ADA being the actual currency drives the chain and the innovation, and with Charles being, Charles is the bear market. That guy was doing a TED talk 10 years ago trying to talk about blockchain, and people are like, what is a blockchain? And like they only knew what, like, how much money could they buy an Ethereum for. And so if anyone can represent all the things that, we're talking about building in the bear market, it's Cardano. It's been all of it. So I think that's when we're going to see the true talent come out, honestly.
Speaking of the true talent, what do you guys have planned for the future of the Churs?
Well, so it was a rocky road in the start. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, just like we were talking about earlier, when you're building for a very long time and you have a lot of plans and 8 months of, okay, so once we sell out, do this and this, it sucks. But now that the dust has settled, and we see, just like how you guys see our true fan base, that they're still there, they're still buying Churs. It's not only more motivation for us, but not only do they give us insight on what other projects are doing, that's kind of been the biggest thing, because when you have a slower mint, you find yourself like, well, now what? Well, before we were building and our heads were down, and that kind of put us at a disadvantage, because I wasn't paying attention to the space, or I was only building, and that's a mistake. And when you're dealing with a smaller team, and even maybe a bigger team, you gotta have eyes out there, because people are doing things that you might have not even realized, like people might have not accepted before, or now they are. I mean, geez, an invite competition now, I think people would be like, oh yeah, that's cool, whatever. You would have said those words like 6 months ago. It's like, what? No, I'm not joining that Discord. So basically what we did was, I went around everywhere. I exhausted all of the people I know. I talked to everyone I knew, because I told Reddington, I said, man, I know it's rough and I know things suck. And Reddington's had to go back to work, just because, I mean, obviously Churs didn't sell out. But I lost my job unexpectedly. I won't go into the details of that, but when you lose your job and you don't have any financial gain, this was, something on the side for me. I was really like, well, now I have to figure this out for us. We were always going to, but it really just put that much more pressure to be able to find someone like Pineapple with the talent that he has, and or I should say Trevor, because he sees the space like I do, but after being around, I'm gonna say this, yeah, I will say this. After being around the space for a long time, I've worked with a lot of different projects, doing various things, community management, whatever, metadata help. I've always been trying to secretly build that team because I'm an artist and I want to do my own thing. And I finally found the people. I finally got my girlfriend to be able to help and look at things analytically and a way that it's just it shines that light of like, you're right. If we do this and this, it will equal this. And so what our plans are is to be able to allow, just like we were talking about earlier, back to the early days of Discord. You know, I was telling that to Reddington, like, let's get those live streams back up. Let's interact with our community. Like, yeah, nobody's talking, but we can talk. And they might not show up the first night, the second night, the third night, but you just keep doing it. And why do you keep doing it? Because I can show you the other people that do. They keep minting. And I think with us, we are going to be able to allow the airdrops will happen, the 3D mass for sure. There will be some adjustments to the roadmap, but if we do sell out, that will still continue. But the biggest thing is we want to develop an interactive Discord. That's kind of the way that I like to phrase it. We're currently in the works right now to develop a bot, and this bot will kind of just be like the like Chur bot, we'll call it, and based on maybe an invite or something of you
Or
show.
a tweet, a retweet, a quote tweet.
Yes,
They'll all have a point system basically. Like if you do a tweet, maybe it's 25 points because you're taking your own initiative and tweeting about us. If it's a retweet, that's pretty easy to do. I do that all the time, but that's just 10 points.
exactly,
And
and
that'll lead up to do you want to spend your points on maybe a free mint, a discounted mint,
That's cool. I like
something in the
that.
future in a roadmap,
Nice.
or do you want to hold them all and maybe you can reimburse us for extra Chur tokens or something, just for
Yep.
being an active member.
That's a really
Mhm.
great idea.
And what it does too, and it allows you to see what it is that people want. Because if we give people points, we're going to be like, all right, you can spend the points on this, this, and this. Well, if all the points start getting funneled into one area, maybe we'll shave off the other stuff and focus on that and expand that. And like, obviously, this is a very new idea that we were building in the past couple weeks. But the details of it, we want to be able to create that original Discord experience when you first entered the space, and it was lively, and things were being shared, and people were excited to be there. And by doing that, you have to reward people with something. And we all know, and I know, I need that whale roll or that extra little, I need my name to change that color. And so having that mindset, I mean, it's silly to think, but like, damn, I want to have the most points in Discord. Like,
Yeah.
why not? I want to flex. And
Well, it's
Yeah, more
social
competitive,
engineering,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And so the, I mean, I'm like, oh, what are we going to offer for the church? Well, you guys get some Discord points. And that's not the point. The point is to be able to use those points to be able to purchase or get reduced mints, to be able to maybe get only specific mints from artists from, maybe our partnerships, or people that are like, yo, I love this idea. Yeah, I'll do some art and we'll charge these many points. Now, that being said, we want to make sure that the artists are paid for that and, we can afford to do it. But that's our main focus, is to bring back that grassroots like kind of feeling, because we're organically built, but we want to make sure it feels that way too. And I mean, I can't tell you how many like diehard community people we have, and I know as soon as like we start doing this, they've been quiet, but they'll start to come back around. And the biggest thing I think really for me is, I mean, unfortunately, I don't have a job, but kind of fortunately for the churs, is it opens up a lot of time for me. And so for me to hop into VR and sketch someone a 101 mask for you, like specifically after you maybe collect X amount of points, or hey, maybe you hit chur whale and you got 50 churs. I can do that now. Whereas before when we were building, that maybe wasn't necessarily something I could say. Well, yeah, what if we get 10 whales? I can't be doing 10 masks. That's a lot of work and render times. Now I have that extra time to be able to give these kind of things to keep the mint going. And that's the most important part, because the community wants us to obviously sell through the mint and continue through our roadmap. And that is our main focus. The Chur Festival will be restructured for sure. But the faucet for the token, absolutely, we still want to continue with that. Pretty much everything on the roadmap, we sell out, there would be no changes, only of a few things of like a Chur Festival that we were planning on doing in the fall. Yeah, that probably won't happen, only because the time for it, But with that being said, it's rewarding the people that are sticking around and seeing what you're building. And I think with this system, it allows for us to have that kind of like, oh, you're right, you have been supporting us. I don't need to like necessarily see you mint 5 churs to give you something, but hey, you retweeted us, you're talking about us, you're active in our Discord. And I've done this before. I've given churs to people just because I'm like, wait, you're not verified? And they're like, no, I don't have a chur. I'm like, wait, you're in here all the time. What do you mean? Here's a chur. Get the Discord role. And all of a sudden, they're 10 times more. And so, it's just, I think with the experience of a slow mint as well, projects need to understand this, that you got to expect the worst and hope for the best. And these projects that don't have a plan B, they're really at a disadvantage, because the community sees that you're not happy and they don't want to see that. And that is going to drive that much more support for your diehard fans. So when we offer something like this, that's going to really drive up that like, okay, sweet, they're back, guys. Let's do this. Let's show them that, we want their stuff still. And it's almost like one of these things I could keep talking, but we'll definitely show you very soon here, really soon. So I've been more excited about this space and the churs and the team that I finally, for over a year, I finally have the people that truly care just as much as I do and actually show up to work and do the stuff, because everybody's got that talk and wants to make the money. But man, I've met a lot of them that just don't show up the next day. So yeah, you can build ideas, but when there's not the people around to do it, it's hard.
And that's the thing, we're talking about titles earlier in the Discord, because he's doing some title shuffling around. And I was like, really all these titles are just arbitrary. It matters if you just get shit done.
Yeah.
Really.
Now, Trevor, as an artist, are you working on anything for the chairs, or?
Mainly just doing community management, but I do some art every once in a while. Because that's how I promise. That's how I got on the team. Really, is I started doing some live streams for Reddington. Just put a little inspiration, a little fire, because like I don't want this kid to be down. I mean, he's just 19.
Yeah.
I'm a professional artist. It's like, it'd be kind of cool if I just went on stream and just drew with them. So we did 3 Twitter banners, I think. And then on stream, I did a live chur for the giveaway. I don't know if you've seen that one yet or not.
No, can you show us some of it? That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Shit, I'm on my laptop. Let's see if I can't get it off.
Pull it up. I think I can.
You got it, Zach?
Yes. I mean, I don't know how to.
There's a button you could just screen share your tab or whatever you want.
Yeah,
you just gotta close all your porn first.
Yes, I'm like, I got the rug A, rug B. Like, these folders are scandalous. Hold on one second. Honestly, it's more of the talking and doing at the same time that like, whoa. All right,
Eric's got it.
Oh, you got it. All right.
Okay, good.
Your porn collection sucks then. The sidebar real quick though. This Mid-Journey thing, I gotta say, is the funnest thing, and I think.
Oh, dude, like, I've been wanting to get balls deep into that. It's just so complicated. But I mean, I've been like following some people on Twitter, and some of the shit that they're making is so incredible, and it's just like, this is just the beginning. Like, can you imagine in 6 months what this shit's gonna look like? It's just like,
it's gonna be insane. And I know a lot of my artists,
as an artist too, concerned. Trev, as an artist, does it scare you?
No, not at all, because I see this as like, how many hours I spent on Google looking for reference?
Yes.
I could just go to this AI thing and just spin something, and it's so close to what I want. I'm like, there we go, there it is. And, because it's not ever going to replace someone painting something,
right?
Because at least I can tell usually when it's AI, which is even if you can't, that's not the point. there's always going to be a space for hand drawn or stuff done by people. So
Right.
I don't think people should be concerned like, oh yeah, this AI is going to replace my illustration job.
Nah.
Wow, that's
Conceptual
incredible.
artists maybe a little bit. Yeah, man. Wow.
That's
like,
really
to see
cool.
that, I wouldn't.
Great work,
The
man.
template of the Churs, like, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, I really wanted to make it a 1-of-1 because I didn't get to do the contest because I was so busy with work. Udon's is in the collection. I didn't really know who Udon was at the moment.
I'll mint
like,
it
I
right
think
now,
you like-
damn it. Let me know when you make it.
and I was like, I don't want. I got this kid. I was like, I gotta show Udon up. So I made something really cool, and Odie won it, and he's been our biggest supporter in our community, and I really wanted to have him something that was really a 1-of-1. So if you notice the color palette on this one, most of the Churs are very bright, as you can see in Eric's background.
Yeah.
I was like, if really to make it feel like a 1-of-1, that's why I went with this black and white, almost monochrome, and then just had a splash of gold. Because I think that looks so much different from everything else. And then the rendering style too. It's no longer a cel-shaded look. And that'd have been the easy way out for me. I was like, just do another cartoon.
No, that's incredible, man.
Spend an hour or two on it. I spent about 10 hours on this just for, just make sure he felt, this is something special. And it's a good portfolio piece for me too. I love it. Everything I make, I want it to be something I'm proud of 10 years down the road.
And that's the kind of spirit and like attitude, and even just a simple answer of like, are you threatened by Midjourney? You're like, no, because you understand what it is to be an artist. And what do artists do? We change, we adapt, and we improve. And
I think it's cool because I want to start using it for all my reference. I can stop using Google.
Please come by our Discord. I have the bot. You're free to use it. I've got the subscription, and we've been having way too much fun. And that's just about talking about getting lost in Discord. That's been a problem. Actually, that's probably why the men's school. No, I'm just kidding.
Have you messed with any of the other AI ones? I know there's like DALL-E 2.
There's DALL-E, yeah.
So I did get a DALL-E invite.
Yeah, you need an invite, right? Because that one's a little bit more.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I got the DALL-E 2 invite right when Midjourney came out, and I started using DALL-E 2, and I'm on Reddit all the time as well, because it's the Midjourney AI DALL-E. That's where I learned about all that. And I kept seeing like DALL-E 2 prompts, and all of a sudden Midjourney prompts are coming up, and they're like, yeah, it's in Discord. And I'm like, oh, so they have like a Discord, and you can go. It's like, oh no, if you pay $10, you can invite the bot to yours. And I'm like, oh snap, this is gonna be perfect. Because even as a 3D artist, I'm making my own texture brushes to sculpt with. I mean, even with just what he was mentioning, using references. I mean, geez, if you want to get like line perspective work or anything like a building, I can finally get a sense of scale in an instance. And that's way quicker than, even typing in Google.
Yeah, you're just learning prompts, right? Like certain prompts will give you certain things, so it's connecting that. It's almost an art in itself to find the right prompts.
It's funny you mention that, because I do get I get requests like, yo, can you make this? I'm like, okay, I gotcha. I know what to put in. I have like, geez.
We had a challenge. We had a challenge earlier. You want to talk about the one we did?
Yes.
So he was trying to get Anna Kendrick to put a banana in her mouth, and the AI bot Midjourney would not do it. It kept like, nope, not going to do it. I know what you're trying to do. It's like, nope. And then I came up with this idea. I was like, you know what? What if we prompted it as banana sticking out of Anna Kendrick's mouth? There's no way I can get around that.
Oh.
Nice.
And
it worked. Did it work?
I do want to.
That's awesome.
I do have to put a backstory to this, because I'm not some weird Discord Midjourney guy typing in Pamela Anderson's, trying to figure out, how do I take the bathing suit off? I mean, when my girlfriend joined the space, when my girlfriend joined the space, she was like, how do all these people have these cool flashy emojis? I'm like, oh, you have to get Discord Nitro. And I'm like, wait, you're in the space, I'll get that for you. And she's like, awesome. That was right in the blossoming of Midjourney. And so she was like, oh, this is so much fun. And she was doing Midjourney, but we had to make our own little Discord. And so to get a nice eye roll from my girlfriend, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I know she's gonna, click see the prompt, and I'm like, oh, let me just fuck with her. So I was like, Anna Kendrick eats a banana, and right away she's like, oh Jesus, and I'm like, yes. So, but I was having an issue not getting her to eat the damn banana, and it became kind of this running little inside joke, and it bled into the churs, and I was like, I can't figure this prompt out, and
It became personal.
it did, it
for
really
Zach.
did. I'm on her Twitter. I'm like, does she eat bananas? Maybe Google doesn't have a reference here. And it was just funny. And I think that's these kinds of things too, like something like Midjourney. It's not related
I'm
to
pretty,
NFT.
I'm pretty
it's
sure they have a
platform.
protocol in there. They don't want very deep
Yes.
things going around.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and if you have any questions about Midjourney, I'm your guy. Trust me.
And by the way, I could have pulled up my chair. I'm so stupid. I could have just went to my website because I get on my website.
Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah. So I can actually screen share if you want to take a look at some of the other work I've done with projects.
Sure, yeah.
And just a regular portfolio. So let's see, where is this camera? Maybe it's the present button. Yeah,
There's
you're
Jennifer
interested.
Aniston with banana in her mouth. There's
Can y'all see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go back. Okay. So we'll go with the creature illustrations first. There's the chair. I got on my little tab. Yeah, I do some work for false idols too.
Nice.
Of course, it's
Lord
getting
of churches.
slow. There we go. Yeah. So he's right there. He's looking good. This is the piece I did. It's a really big piece. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I am also, I'm sidebarring real quick, but I'm looking into distributing prints of some churs. So
that's for Primal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Creature design. Sketches, kind of, how you could, if you just get this is for if any artists do listen, if you are confused on how to get from here to here, you can just make a side profile of something and you can just put it in perspective, and then you can work your anatomy because where your legs and all this stuff are.
Nice.
This is actually my first digital painting. This is from college.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this is textured, by the way. So I painted it, but then I used some of my textures on top.
Oh, cool.
So that's when you're kind of experimenting. This is my first vector illustration. This is on my website too. This is also from college. Let's see. That's a painting that I did on my couch in my dorm right before class because I forgot about this project. It was a color theory project.
You did
so I
pretty
did it
damn
on my couch. Thank you. That's that painting that was behind me. That's a big painting that I did, personal piece. See, posters for the witch.
Love it.
It's on board. Yeah. Let's see. That's just another personal illustration from a long time ago. This one's really cool. I need to do more work like this. Yeah, I love this. This is actually for a bar, believe it or not. Parkside. So this is on their menus.
Very cool.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Kind of matches the art on the walls.
That's so cool.
Let's see. This was for El Matador, actually, for their Pixel Page NFT.
Oh, wow.
So, and I got asked a bunch, like, is this AI? I said, nope. All hand painted.
It's the abstract roots and all that going on. I definitely see how people.
Well, that's how. Well, we won't talk about El Matador's laundry right now, but a lot of their collection kind of looks like this. Kind of this.
Yeah.
Like basically like AI art, and I was like, I want to try to replicate that. And so you just mess with sharpness of your edges and softness of your edges, and just have some abstract things. And then I had a big negative space right here. It's like, oh, it would look cool. I was like, there's so many colors. If you just have like a neutral, like this black, and it's like a void or like a gate.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like a rip in time.
But yeah, it's like this rip in time. It's just so cool. So that was actually for. So if you go to Pixel Page, that you'll see that's one of their backgrounds. Go back here, and of course I do cartoons too, which a lot of people is like when they think you do something, they think you only can do like one thing. So this is for false idols. This is our cult illustration.
So cool.
Wow.
Yeah. And actually, you wouldn't think it, but I spend a lot more time on this than Odie's sure probably doing the line work and making sure the fog is right? It's just a lot of drawing. That was for 4th of July for False Idols Twitter. Baffo, Washington. This is actually another El Matador collab with them, False Idol style. So I mixed the painted backgrounds with their drippy textures, but the False Idols cartoony look. Me and Red, this is actually me and Red's first collab. Actually, I forgot about this. So Red actually drew basically all of it, and I just did a lot of the textures on top because Red doesn't really, I would say he doesn't know how to render. He just hasn't really experimented with it a lot. And I just showed him like, yeah, if you just do a little bit of rendering, and it's just mainly just texturing here, it really gives your piece something different.
Wow.
Well,
this is for Pets R Us.
Oh, yeah.
That was a Twitter banner. I do have all the Churs banners on here. So that's the first banner we did together. And with Red, I was showing him because he doesn't do a lot of backgrounds or like backgrounds like this.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, find a piece you like online and you can trace it, but not trace it exactly. Just take the good, because I was trying to teach him what you like about that piece. You like the shapes.
The Space Buds style.
Yeah, I would do that. Ezra, he's my teacher.
Nice.
I will say this.
Originally this was like some kind of swamp scene he had found, and by the end of it, we got to this. And I was like, "There's nothing wrong with like learning how to do that because you do that in college. It'll take you like, hey, here's a scene from Beauty and the Beast. Copy it, but don't copy it.
Right.
Take the same shapes and the perspective and make something new." And so I taught him how to. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a professional at it, but I was like, "Here you go. Here's how you take. If you really want to be a slave to your reference and you're afraid to move your shapes around, it's like, just do this. Take someone else's composition and make it totally different." That's a good way to go into it. This is one of my thumbnails from college. So Reddington actually got to borrow my idea for this one, which it turned out great. I'm glad it finally got used for something though. It was a thumbnail that was a reject for a job. This is one of Reddington's original banners, and I just did some rendering on top of it just to make it give it a little bit of oomph. This is when I was in college. So I did. We had to do an assignment. We had to put an actor in a cartoon. So I did Over the Garden Wall. You ever watched that? And so this is the turnaround for Danny DeVito. And I went the extra mile and did it both ways. So you do it like this because for animation, animators want to know like where his arm goes and like where his belly is and stuff like that. So you want to have poses with and without the coat. Expressions. Yeah, that's the actual characters from Over the Garden Wall. Which, by the way, this is not my character, but we had to actually do their characters for the assignment. And surprisingly, surprisingly you would think you would have tons of reference for turnaround. Since this is an actual cartoon character, there were none. Yeah. So I had to do it the correct way, which a lot of my peers did not. They found like Batman. Of course, he had turnarounds for him. And so I did his turnaround, which wasn't hard. Actually, the most complicated for this turnaround for this one was the frog. Because, this perspective is not the same as this. And this is where I put to practice, if you define this and this, you can do this and this. So.
Do you ever foresee yourself doing your own collection?
Yeah, actually I do. And I've got, as for learn to read, yeah, I'll get out of this. Talk about my collection, I guess. I'll stop sharing my screen for a moment. But yeah, actually I do. I get a few different avenues right now. I'm going to leave one of these projects unnamed. Mm-hmm. I have agreed that I like their community. They've basically been rugged, but the team's still there. And I was like, I tell you what, you have a very good community here, and I have a lot of funds right now, but I want to do my own project. And I'm willing to trade out your team, your fan base for my project, essentially, because they can't reuse anything. Because they've had a few different artists come in there, and they're like, hey, this is how we reimagine these assets. Like, you're still way too close to someone else's artwork.
Yeah.
It's like you're just going to have to bite the bullet and do something new, but honor the collection, though. You can still do that for the holders. And if that goes through, then this will probably be how I do my first collection, is that way. If not, I'm going to start doing a collection with like small drops, like 30 drops a piece, and see how that goes. That'll be one-on-ones. And then get to my big project. You know, I want to have a light paper and everything for that, explain what I want to do. And so, you know, every time we mint out 30, it's like, oh, here's some ideas, or here's promises for the next thing.
Right.
Promises for the next thing. And then when you get to a big mint, it's like, okay, time to put our big boy and big girl pants on. Here's the big stuff. You know, I want to have some cool ass art, but I also have some cool ass ideas. You know, being into the you know, tangible world of business.
Very cool, man.
So thank you.
Yeah,
Excited to see what that looks like.
Thank you.
You know, it's funny. Like, I obviously knew he was a talented artist, but like, here we are working together and as a team, and I mean, I'm not hiring him for his art, or I mean, I'm not even technically hiring him in any sense, other than you know, helping in the chores. But like the skill set of people in Cardano, I knew there's just so much talent out there, but it is very hard to work with people just in general in this space, but also to just find the right person that you get along with and sees the same vision that you do. I mean, it's a small community we have here, and like to finally be able to find the people. I mean, not only does it energize me back to life, it feeds everyone else around the project. And like Reddington took a trip. I mean, he had this plan for months, and he was gone, and I'm like, dude, we're set, we're good, man, I promise. And that's the best part of this space, is if you do stick with it. If I would have thrown my hands up and said, I don't know what to do, and I didn't pay attention to the space, Pineapple probably wouldn't have stuck around. He would have been like, I don't know what's going on, those guys kind of seem to give up. But
yeah, because you can only stick around for so long,
Yes.
even if my tenacity can only outmatch someone else's surrender.
Yeah. And
because it's like at that point, it's like you can't just take over a project without the dev wallet. Well, I guess you can, but without the assets, the policy IDs,
Right.
you're just a glorified fan art guy right then.
Yeah.
Trying to take over this failed project. But if you have the owners are willing to put in the work, then it's worth the time. I was like, hey, I can help you guys out. I want to put my skills to use and get you out there because I believe in this. And, I think the Cardano community should do more of this often instead of, when a project's, downbeaten and forgotten about. I think people should stick around and help. That doesn't mean every project deserves that treatment, but if you believe it does, stick around for it. Help them out.
So I know I'm pushing the limits here because I know we just took up a lot of time, but
No, it's awesome.
all this
What
shit
is time?
well, the screen sharing got me a little jealous here, and I'm like, I forget that I'm an artist sometime, and
Oh,
I do have this habit where, like, I just don't share my artwork, and I'm just busy, and I'm doing a lot of other things. But that being said, I do want to also, I want to get an opinion, but also show it to you. Let me just find out how to share my screen here.
Actually, we're running low on time, so
okay, that's fine. No
we'll have
problem.
to do this next time.
No,
I'm
no
just
problem.
I'm just playing.
No, that's how appreciative I am of your time. Like, seriously. So I mean, I would totally understand.
No, we want to see it.
That's the wrong camera here. Where's the screen share? If
I think it's the arrow, isn't it?
the percent now. Okay.
Yeah, percent now. That's that one.
Bye, Andrew Kendrick. I'll see you next time. I'm just kidding. So. Can you guys see my screen?
Oh yeah.
There.
Look at that. Look at that chair mask.
So this was actually a conceptual piece. So there's a little cleaning up I still have to do. But this was kind of the whole idea behind the 3D aspect of the churs. And basically what we want to do is we see the wallet distribution, we see our holders, and we just kind of had an idea that, we can afford to airdrop, our current holders right now of churs masks. And I was wanting to do this mask in particular. I do want to add things and change it up, but I wanted to get your guys' feedback on one. Do you think airdropping the same asset across the community kind of isn't that exciting? And then also two, if it's the same asset, would you rather it be in a like 3D scene where it's a GLTF kind of thing where you can rotate it, on pool.pm, or would you like to have it like rendered as like an MP4, because I'm trying to figure that out, and I think people would like it.
I would think interactive would be really cool, and I'd say instead of that GLTF, isn't there like JSON? You can do it in like JSON.
Yeah, I think I think it'd be cool if you gave it to everybody. If they could also like interact with it. I think one of the cool things with Claymates is that they gave everyone their clay in a 3D form, and then you're able to put it like in like AR scenes and stuff like that. So it'd be cool to see people with the Chur mask on, you know, or like using it in their, you know, PFP and making kind of their own thing.
Yeah,
you know, that'd be
and you never know what they do with it. That's free advertising, really.
Yep, exactly. So
I will have to cut back a little on the textures, but yes, that's the kind of thank you, because I didn't even think of something like that.
And that's where you come into, you know, like even some of these older companies starting to come around to it. Like, you know, have any of you ever been to like a Comic Con and all you have all these people doing fan art and selling them? That's technically against the law.
Oh, really?
But yeah, because you're taking someone else's IP and selling it. Yeah,
I gotta delete some stuff.
But yeah, but here's the thing: a lot of those companies now will let you do it because why? It's free advertising,
right?
And you're losing out on what, like $10,000 if someone does really well at a show, compared to a Cartoon Network or Disney or Nickelodeon or, you know, some anime companies. Like, I don't care. It's like, you know what? Promote us, love us, and you know, let the community have a little bit of fun. They will come in droves, like especially when you release something, you know, some miniature figurines. You know, you have people just coming in. Yeah. But if you punish them, and there's a difference between not enforcing IP and understanding, like when he was like, okay, that's not really an IP infringement, they're just having fun.
But then, like, you know, so with like NFTs, it's like you're kind of
giving, with NFTs, you're kind of giving your IP rights though.
Right, and I love that idea.
That's the neat thing.
Yeah, because like with this, it'd be so cool to like, just give it to the fans and kind of let them see what they can do with it, right?
Exactly.
And then if something, you know, starts to kick off with it, it's like, I mean, especially like this timing, like with Halloween coming up, this project, you guys, like anything you can give to the people where they can just wrap this stuff is like such perfect timing with the season. I mean,
when Halloween drops.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, these masks are so cool. Like, I mean, this, speaking of just like the quality of this mask is insane. I love it. It's so cool. I mean, I would totally like, if I could 3D make this, had like a 3D machine, I would love to just bust this out at a party or something.
And not only that, then you can put it on your wall for the rest of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, because I know a lot of people that collect masks. Actually, do y'all know what is his name? His actual name's Leonardo. I think it's Lagunza Art. Is his Instagram? I have to find him later, but he has his own. He used to work at a tattoo parlor, and now he's got his own, and he collects masks. Like a lot. Like you go in his tattoo parlor, and it's like wow, all these masks everywhere. It's one of his favorite things. He's a great artist, by the way. A little jealous, actually. He's really good.
And obviously, let me find my folder here. So, like, obviously, these masks and stuff, I haven't really explored. I mean, I know I can, you know, have my little play on this mask in different ways. Like, obviously, the original mask, it was smiling. It just didn't play right into the creepiness of it because you're getting these hard white contrasts. So I just did my artistic spin on it with the stitch. And
I think there's nothing wrong with that. That's it's called interpretation. It's the same thing with any media or art form. Like if you did an oil painting in graphite, you can make it look exactly like it, but it's like why not make some creative decisions and make it work for the medium? You know, you're going from cartoony to a 3D render, which is close to real life, and so you have to ditch some of this to make this look correct.
And you know, this is the greatest thing about this space. Raging Red sold out, and Reddington said, "Dude, I appreciate your work. You want an Oculus headset?" And I was like, "No. Are you kidding? What would I do with that?" He's like, "No, you can like model in VR now." And I'm like, "What?" And at the time, I really didn't know that, and I was like, "You know this, and I don't. What am I missing?" And so I went down this rabbit hole. Long story short, this would not have happened if I did not get that VR headset. The reason being It's just the speed of scale, or like you can scale your artwork so much
So
more,
much faster.
so much faster. And so when he was like, so you did that, how long do you think you ever, could you do all these masks? I was like, all of them? Don't think so, because
Yeah.
we have a lot. But, choosing a handful of some badass ones, yeah. This took about 8 hours from start to finish, not
Yeah, I
including
think
like
you're
a
onto
render time.
something. I really love this.
Yeah.
I think
Oh, good,
like
good.
gifting those out to, or however you want to do it, like connecting it to certain NFTs that are more rare, and then like you're
I know that Happy Hoppers box would be simple, but that looks so sexy 3D thing. Just the box just spinning
mean,
around.
The best part about this space is I want to push myself because these people deserve it. You guys have supported me. You guys
Right.
pay my bills. Like that's how real this is. Like I want to be able to give to people. So like in a weird like alternative universe, if Reddington is like, nah, they don't need that, I can still do what I want to do. You know what I mean? And that's the great part about NFTs. If something were to happen, I can still pay back the people that own it because I know who holds. But the caveat to this was, how would you feel as just a community member? And this could be something you guys, tell me to my face, because this is the part where I need to know, because we're still building this. If you had Churs listed on the secondary market, but you weren't eligible for an airdrop, would that make you feel upset or like cheated out of something? But you were
No.
told if you had any assets listed that you wouldn't receive it.
No, that's pretty common practice.
I think that's
So-
fair
Okay.
game. I think
Okay.
you want to reward holders for holding and not selling. I mean, because at the end of the day, it
you,
helps everybody.
yeah.
I would be mad if I was holding and people that had it listed got it, to
Yeah.
flip that around.
But I also think it's like
Yeah,
really good for like the team to come out and let people know ahead of time. Like,
Yeah.
like it kind of sucks when it's a surprise thing. I'd just be like, hey, like hint it, like give people hints to be like, hey, for those people who are hanging on to their chairs and not selling them, we have something special for you coming. And then maybe do some
Exactly.
sneak
As long as you communicate it well,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
there
good
shouldn't be a
communication
problem.
is key.
Because there's another
Yes.
Discord I'm in, and the project isn't doing so hot. It's having a slow mint, but the art's really cool. And someone, you wouldn't believe some of the balls on some of these people that come in there. It's like, I forgot to delist my NFT to get my airdrop. Whoops. I'm like,
give it to
really? Yeah. I was like, it's like, you're really going to come in the Discord to say, I forgot to delist after this project's kind of struggling. And I was like, it's just rude.
What kind of project comes in and shows you this is the entire mint, by the way. This isn't something like I set aside. This is all the assets sitting in there. So
Waiting
yeah.
to be minted. I
my
think
guy-
it would be cool if you did like, I know these like take forever to make, but if you made like 5 of them and then like certain ones were more rare than the others, like
Yes.
I think that would add like a level of excitement. Like,
But also holding multiple chairs at the same time would be like, hey, if you're holding like 10 chairs, like, you can get one of these masks.
odds are better or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Absolutely.
think there's anything wrong with it, to be totally honest with you. Like,
And I haven't
rewarding those people
heard
who
of
are
it
your
like-
hardcore chair holders, like,
Or like, I'll make whatever one you want if you're like the one lucky person that
Yes.
something like that would be really cool. Like,
Yeah, we've actually been talking about that, doing a 1-on-1 mask.
I think it's incredible. I mean, like the amount of work and like, because I went to art school too, and like, yeah, like you said, that took 8
Cool,
hours.
where'd you
Like,
go?
I
Yeah.
went to the
Okay.
debunked Art Institute of Illinois. So
Hey, Art Institute used to be the shit.
yeah,
So,
Back in the
because
day.
my professor at SCAD went to Art Institute as well
okay.
in Ohio, I think. Yeah, it used to be something, but I know now, like nowadays, it's kind of more. It's not as good to go to.
Churn and burn.
But but it's going to happen with all of them though. Even the one I went to, my alma mater one day would be, because they keep expanding, like the Art Institute, SCAD. I mean, they're really good, but I mean, I can see it already. It's like, yeah, one day it's gonna be just like the Art Institute. They're gonna be spread too thin. The
Yeah.
quality's gonna get low. So nothing. But yeah, it doesn't really matter where you go either. As long as you're a talented artist and you have a good portfolio, it doesn't matter what your pedigree is or anything like that.
Right on.
I just thought
And
of
if I
something
could go
kind of
back, I think I'd skip school actually. I think I would just had faith in my own abilities, really.
I
Yeah, you
thought
have
of something kind
incredible
of fun.
artwork. I mean, both of you guys do. I
Yeah.
mean, you guys are very talented. So I think it's
Thank
just, yeah, it's cool that you have an entrepreneurial spirit too. Like a lot of people will just go into like a certain corporation and like,
Well, that's one reason that this NFT space interested me, because if you've ever done work for, say, like a Disney or a big company,
or a video game company or like
I
a
was, I, was,
casino.
I was about to say Activision or anything
Right.
like that, you don't own the artwork.
Nope.
They own it, and then the only way you can do that if you own your artwork is if you do freelance and you have a contract to do so. And usually, even then, they usually want to buy the IP rights, which that's a great way to do it if you want to make a ton of money, or they have to buy the IP rights from you. But if you work underneath them, anything you make is theirs.
Yeah, that sucks.
Wow.
That's what I loved
And so
about
I
this
never liked
space. Like, I'm
Yeah.
so like excited for you guys, and I really hope that you guys can succeed in this space. And like,
And
mean,
if I want someone in, making money off my art, I want to be someone that supports me, not
right,
a big conglomerate company that you don't know who's at the top.
yeah,
Yeah. And just one thing I wanted to add on the mask thing, it's not only something I think that would kind of like jumpstart like, oh, the Churs, those are dope masks. And
Yeah,
I feel
they
like
really are.
maybe, well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I mean, getting you guys kind of were the like, all right, that's going to happen now. So I'm putting it on the record. Yes, 3D, that mask for sure. 3D airdrops to my Chur holders. The
Let's go.
specificity of it, that will still be arranged, but yes, I wouldn't have any assets listed on secondary for sure. But yeah, so that's gonna happen, and then the variety of the other stuff, that's gonna be a surprise. But that I want to be able to also, one, I want people to be able to share it, so you can get your points in Discord and you have your cool mask, and then and it also allows maybe some people that are like, oh, I thought they were like a PFP project, but what's this? And we want to bring new people into the space or our Discord, because I will say the one thing that has really kind of been strange is we just don't get new people in our Discord, but we
Yeah.
really don't get new people that leave. I mean, obviously we've shredded numbers, but not in any abnormal sense compared to other projects. But I think that would also be a great way to get people re-interested in what's going on. And so you get to reward holders, you get to rekindle interest in Mint, and it's not that much money for us to airdrop, and we don't have thousands of wallets to send it out. So we sit in a financial spot where it can happen. And obviously, I'm not going to be making millions and minting these masks. I don't need to, because I trust what's going to happen later on.
And but also, it's also like, if you zoom out, it's not just your project, right? It's like the whole space has been going down at the same time. So it's like you can't just like take such a hard beating to and be like, oh, we weren't successful. And it's like, no, it's like it's like the whole space has been like losing
momentum
from because it's just like, I mean, like when people can't pay for gas or electricity, like shit gets weird, and it's like they're just like,
they have to tighten their belt and decide what they're going to
exactly. And it's like there will be, there's it's everything's cyclical. What comes up must come down, and it'll reverse course at the same time. And I think your guys' resiliency is just gonna prove off, and everything's trial and error, and I think you guys have the right attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks, man. And it's one of the things where, like you said earlier, we're not going anywhere.
Right.
And I can't reiterate that enough. So how am I supposed to exist in this space and continue? And that's the best part of it, is you adapt, you figure it out, you change, you have these kind of dialogues with people that truly care and have, input and, ways of thinking that I might not have thought of earlier. And, that's what I value so much about this space, is the people that stick the foot to the ground and are like, no, I'm here for the long haul. And it's kind of, you don't see that in business. You don't show up to your job and the guy's like, I'm going to work here for 10 years, so it's just an interesting dynamic, I think, to have, to work with people. So, yeah.
Yeah. In this space, whether I work, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, it wouldn't matter because I have so much fun.
Yeah.
And when you're having fun doing what you love, you really don't think of like, I spent 10 years here. It's like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
Well, that will be our announcement tonight. Actually, sorry. I'll
yeah.
talk. I'll announce that in our Discord. I'll talk about the
Awesome.
mass and post it, and yeah, so look for that.
And tell them to watch this for more information.
Yes, actually,
Well, and I'll get y'all on. Do you know Sean from False Idols? I may get him on y'all's radar.
Yeah, let's
I don't
do
know if
it.
he
That would be
watched this
awesome.
thing, because I don't know. I never heard about y'all, but I've only been here since April, so I don't know. I didn't know who Cardano Thor was until like last month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're-
So and
we're
it's
just
like
a small
supposedly he's a big
fish.
name. Yeah. And so I get him to watch this and see how he likes it. Maybe we can get him on too.
For sure,
eventually,
man.
because we've had some growing pains over there too. And they have a different problem. They've minted out, but
Then it's
how
like,
do you
what's
keep your
next?
community engaged? Yeah, what's next? And he's doing that, and it's hard to build sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's leave
Yeah,
it there,
man.
guys. I loved having you guys on, and you guys are always welcome to come back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, enjoyed it.
And if people want to mint some churs, where should they go?
the best place would to be go to our Twitter first, and the pinned link, and then also the description on our Twitter is the link to our Discord. And then when you join the Discord, verify, and then you'll see a mint here. 66 ADA. We just hit about 800 mints. We're going to 3,500. And the best part is, each time you're going to be minting anything until those 3,500 sell out, you will be eligible for a giveaway. So those giveaways have varied. The first one we just did was for the 101 that Pineapple drew. And the reason that it's going to be dynamic and evolving. So just keep an eye out for some unique art that's going to be given to people that, mint projects that are here and building.
nice.
And I may get some other artists to do some stuff for him too, for
Yes.
these giveaways and stuff like that. So it's not just pineapple art.
Trevor,
Yep.
how do you want
Of
people to reach
course,
you?
of course, reach me. I guess my Twitter, my Pineapple Pizza.
Okay. At
It's
Pineapple
it's
Pizza.
spelled like, yeah, it's at Pineapple Pizza, but of course someone's masquerading around with the normal spelling. So the last L is a 1, and the first I in pizza is a 1 with
Right
an
on.
underscore between it. So
And 80 aquariums.
Awesome, guy.
Just 80 aquariums.
Yeah, so yep, 8 aquariums, ADAQURIUMS. You can find me. I got the little fish mask as an avatar,
yeah,
and
I got a space squirrel as mine.
yeah, I'm all around the space. So I'm not a stranger, and if anyone has questions or is interested in churs or is not really even understanding what it is we're talking about here, I would love to talk to you because we have fun over there, and that's
Awesome.
kind of our whole dynamic, So yeah, I can't. First of all, thank you guys enough for letting us. Let's see, what we got, 2 hours.
And absolutely, we've had a blast.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
man.
It's a
man.
good time, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the Joe Rogan experience over here.
seriously.
It really
Might have to
is.
start paying you guys to get on.
And
here,
I
too.
was about to ask, thinking about Joe Rogan, you got some broad shoulders on you there,
Mikey.
Oh, thanks, man.
Mikey.
Yeah.
for some reason.
I like to work out.
And then
I
Eric, I
dabble.
see. I was about to say. Then you got Eric, and that's your brother, like your
Yeah,
brother.
we're brothers.
Okay, because I was about to say I'm built. My younger brother Tanner, he's got more than narrow shoulders, and so I was wondering because usually we don't. He's like, y'all are brothers. Like, yeah, we're brothers. So yeah, I just asked you guys. I was like, I'm glad to see there's more people in the Cardano space that like to work out.
Hell yeah.
Well, now
man.
we really
love it.
pissed off Reddington. He's not gonna like this part. Oh no.
About
bro
being
part.
buff.
You got to take care of not the mind, but also the physical body. It's all one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you got to take your
You
mushrooms.
can't see 8 aquariums, but he's like 400 pounds.
Yeah,
Like
that's
bedridden.
actually. No, that's the thing is I'm so handsome. I just don't want to send the wrong impression.
Speaking of
my
which, 80
girlfriend-
aquariums. When I
Yes.
put this video out, send me some art or something so
For
the
sure,
people
yeah.
aren't just looking at a blank screen. Because
Definitely.
I
man.
think-
I was
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
that before.
yeah, send me something for
Definitely. Awesome.
All right.
Well,
boys.
Guys,
Thank
Appreciate
so
you
much, man.
guys. No
Great
problem.
app.
Thank
Talking
you.
to y'all.
Have a good night.
All right. You too, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
appreciate your time.
Bye.
I'll
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
you. Bye.
Take care.
Bye, guys.